Rare historical images you have not seen before.
In the past, in order to cure syphilis, people were infected with malaria. The man who came up with this crazy but workable idea was awarded the Nobel Prize. He was Julius Wagner Jaurg. Malaria caused a very high temperature that killed the syphilis bacteria. Patients were then treated for malaria. There were no antibiotics at the time, and syphilis was a direct threat to life. Tyke the elephant was captured in Zimbabwe and transported to the United States to work in a circus. In 1994, after 20 years of captivity and torture, Tyke's patience reached its limit in Honolulu, where she broke through the ring fences and headed swiftly for the exit. She chased clowns and trainers, overturned cars, and then lashed out into the streets to escape slavery. The police shot her 86 times before she died. The elephant died for 2 hours. Next time someone tells you that animals like to work in circuses, remember this picture. How much panic, pain, and powerlessness are in those eyes. A 12-year-old boy gets a lobotomy, a barbaric method of treating mental disorders that gained popularity in the United States in the mid-20th century. The transorbital lobotomy did nothing to heal the sick. It only rendered them permanently disabled. A lobotomy is an operation performed on the human brain. A lobotomy deliberately damages, or in some cases removes, a small part of the brain altogether. Poland. Soviet soldiers in front of a mountain of human ashes in Majdanek concentration camp, 1944. A mother hides her face in shame as she puts her children up for sale, Chicago, 1948. In 1950, Russian scientist Vladimir Demikhov surprised the world when he transplanted a dog's head into another dog. The two-headed dog lived for a month. The same two-headed dog created by Russian scientist Vladimir Demikhov during an experiment in 1954 that we wrote about. Recall, the dog lived for a month. Human remains in the crematorium of the Stutów concentration camp, Poland, 1945. Donald Trump, 30-year-old millionaire, New York, 1976. Holodomor in Ukraine. The photo shows Kharkov in 1933. Corpses lie in the street, while people simply walk by. In the 1930s, baby cages were used so that children who lived in city apartments always had fresh air and sunlight. A Turkish official taunts hungry Armenian children with bread during the 1915 Armenian genocide. The mother and baby escaped the fire and made it to the fire escape, but it collapsed. The mother died from the fall, but the daughter survived by landing on her mother's body. The most mass suicide. The Temple of Nations cult was founded by the American preacher Jim Jones. Pictured are 918 adherents of this cult who voluntarily poisoned themselves with cyanide. 1978. Nazi toilets. This is not written about in the history books. During World War II, when the genocide of the Jewish people was taking place, the highest German officials had unusual toilets where they could satisfy their needs. Straight from Auschwitz, Jews were brought in who, for whatever reason, did not like the commander or were very guilty. Prisoners were chained to a urinal, and there they remained for the rest of their lives without food or water. But that was only half the trouble. Any German who worked at headquarters could come and piss directly on the prisoner, throw a smoldering cigarette butt at them. When the prisoner died, they would take him off the chain and just throw him in the pit like garbage.